This video is a review of problems 17 through 20 in your genetics packet, and it's all about multiple alleles and codominance in this case. So these are all our blood type problems. So a father has blood type O and a mother has blood type AB. What blood types could their children have? And make sure to show all the possible genotypes, the genotypic ratio, and the phenotypes and the phenotypic ratio. So if the father has blood type O, he has both recessive alleles for blood type. The mother has type AB, so she has an allele for type A protein and an allele for type B protein. So if we do this Punnett square, she has a 50% chance of, or they have a 50% chance of producing children with type A or type B. You really only need one column. You could simplify this, or you could simplify the ratio at the end. So we have two possible genotypes here. They are right here. And the ratio is 1:1, and we have two possible phenotypes, type A and type B. Be really careful when you do blood typing problems that in your Punnett square you use the proper allele notation, and make sure that if we ask you on a test or a quiz or a lab for the possible blood types that you give us A, B, AB, or O, and not the genotypes. So if somebody asks you your blood type, you say I'm type O or I'm type B, but you would never say I'm little I, little I. That's just not how it's done. That's the genotype. A father is heterozygous for type A. So he would have one dominant allele and one recessive allele. And his wife is heterozygous for type B. What blood types could their children have? So in this particular case, if these two alleles, or if these two gametes come together, we could get type AB. Here we would have type A. Here we would have type B. Here we would have type O. So they could have offspring with any of the four possible blood types. Their blood types of their offspring could be A, AB, B, or O. The ratio would be 1:1:1:1. There is a 25% chance of getting any of the blood types. Now, remember that the alleles for A and B are codominant to each other. So those genes would both be expressed, and individuals who have type AB blood have both type A protein on the surface of their blood cells and type B protein. But remember that the alleles for A and B are dominant to the allele for type O blood. So the only way to get type O blood is to be homozygous recessive. A mother has type O blood, and her husband has type A blood. So the husband goes across the top, the woman down the side. The Punnett square is simple. Now, you could do a 4-square Punnett square. It really wouldn't waste that much time. But the genotypes are here, and the ratio is 1:1. So the genotype would be big I A, little I, or little I, little I. And we have a 1:1 ratio of A to O. So problem number 20, a child has blood type AB, and the mom had type A. What are the possible genotypes of the mom and the dad? So the mom has type A. So here are two possible genotypes for the mother. She could be homozygous for A or heterozygous for A. The child has type AB blood. So if the child has type AB blood, that means that the father must have the allele for type B blood. But we don't know what the rest of, or what the second allele is. So he could be heterozygous for type B or homozygous for type B. And most students get these two possibilities, but a lot of students forget that he could also have blood type AB and have passed this allele on to his offspring. So the dad couldn't be type O blood because he has the B allele. But that's the only type that, he also couldn't be type A. So here are several other possibilities. that we could do. There are a lot of different Punnett squares. Now, on a test or a quiz, if we ask you to do a Punnett square to show all the possible genotypes, it's best to do the most heterozygous option. So you wouldn't necessarily need to do all of the possible Punnett squares as long as none of the new possible Punnett squares give you new possible phenotypes.